Washington Times front page for Thursday, June 13th, 2024. Thanks for joining us. I'm George Gerbo. Former President Trump will discuss his legislative priorities in a potential second term when he meets with Republican lawmakers Thursday on Capitol Hill. Seth MacLachlan and Kerry Pickett report it's his first visit to Capitol Hill since the January 6, 2021 riot on the building by his supporters. Trump has laid out a wide-ranging agenda which focuses heavily on reversing President Biden's executive actions on immigration, energy, and equity programs. Trump would need Congress to score policy wins in Washington in a second term and also enact structural changes to how the federal government operates. He said some of the restrictions handcuffed him in his first term. Drama and infighting among House Republicans is spilling into GOP primaries across the country, with far-right rebels feeling the effects of the battles against their center-right colleagues. Alex Miller and Lindsey McPherson report hardline conservatives have come up short in efforts to replace more moderate Republicans with anti-establishment candidates. At the same time, establishment Republicans are wading into primaries in efforts to oust far-right members of Congress who have caused headaches for the conference. In a half dozen or more primary races this cycle, Republican lawmakers have targeted their colleagues by lending time, money, or both to candidates seeking to unseat incumbents. A deepfake detection company says AI-generated propaganda supporting Hamas is deliberately targeting American audiences. Ryan Lovelace reports investigators at Sensity AI say they've uncovered manipulated online content backing both sides of the Israel-Hamas war. Sensity's co-founder says Hamas propaganda targets were definitely Europeans and American citizens, while Israeli propaganda tried to focus more on influencing an internal audience in the Middle East. The Dutch company said pro-Hamas content used AI to generate images of Gaza residents, especially children, next to rubble and victims of alleged Israeli attacks. A House Foreign Affairs Committee investigation has found the U.S. Agency for Global Media sought to cover up improper activities by a fired Voice of America manager who was rehired. Bill Gertz reports a committee report says the agency engaged in corrupt practices related to the vetting of Satara Sieg, a director of Voice of America's Persian news network. Sieg was fired in the closing days of the Trump administration, but rehired in the first days of the Biden administration. The report says U.S. AGM failed to investigate internal VOA complaints that Sieg, who remains a manager, lied about receiving a doctorate from France's Sorbonne University and misspent VOA funds. 3 teenagers have been arrested for using their e-scooters to scuff up a pride flag crosswalk mural in Spokane, Washington. Valerie Richardson reports police arrested 19-year-old Ruslan Turco and 2 minors whose names were not released on June 5th. All 3 were booked on first-degree malicious mischief. The offense carries a maximum of 5 years in prison under the state's newly enhanced felony hate crime law. And finally, Major League Pickleball brings its hybrid of ping pong and tennis to D.C. for a 4-day event showcasing the racket sport's best players and teams. Liam Griffin reports the Washington Tennis and Education Foundation in Southeast will host 15 of the 22 teams from the nascent league. The Association of Pickleball Professionals counted 48.3 million players in 2023, a 35% increase from 2022. Find all today's front page stories at WashingtonTimes.com/front page or the Washington Times app, and find us wherever you get your podcasts. You can also find us on social media at Wash Times for breaking news, sports, commentary, and more. For the Washington Times, I'm George Gerbo.